Hey everyone, thanks for joining today. We're gonna wait here a couple more minutes for 2 o'clock as more people join in. So be patient with us and we'll get started as soon as 2. So we're about 2 minutes out here till 2 o'clock. So we'll get started here in a few minutes. Looks like we have a couple more people joining. We're going to go ahead and get started here. It is just about 2 o'clock. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Qgiv webinar. I'm so happy you all could join us today. We have an exciting topic to discuss, an exclusive look at Qgiv's new web-based bidding and event management tools for auction events. For those unfamiliar with Qgiv, we are an online fundraising platform that makes it easy for nonprofits of all sizes to raise more money online. We have solutions for every nonprofit, including year-round fundraising tools, text giving, peer-to-peer fundraising, silent auction tools, and much more. A few house notes before we begin. We are recording this webinar, and we'll send you a copy of it after it's complete. Please feel free to ask any questions using the chat box to the left. We'll try to answer all of your questions throughout the presentation, and we also have a Q&A section at the end of this presentation. If you have Twitter, please share your highlights and takeaways with the hashtag QGivWebinar, and make sure to follow us at Qgiv. My name is Justin Cook. I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at Qgiv. It's my job to educate nonprofits about the various fundraising tools that Qgiv has to offer. Today, I'm joined by Chris Morata, the Vice President of Product here at Qgiv. He oversees the development of the various Qgiv fundraising tools, and he'll take us through the brand new features today. We're also joined by Jennifer Mansfield. She is the Vice President of our award-winning customer experience team, and we have her on the line today to help answer any of the questions that you may have. So, who remembers this? An in-person event with crowds of people laughing, having a good time, the auctioneers on stage driving engagement and running appeals for specific items. Your bidder audience is right in front of you, captivated with the various elements of your auction, and all their attention is on your event. It was so easy then. But now your audience looks a lot like this, or like this. It's a challenge to keep their attention while they're distracted by the various aspects of their life at home, or even when they're on the road. To do this, you must minimize the barrier of entry for your auction and provide an exceptional and competitive bidding experience. That's where the Qgiv auction platform can help. It puts the power and bidding experience right in the palm of your bidder's hands or from their desktop device. Your bidders near and far have the ability to access your event within minutes, and they're bidding and contributing to your mission. And even when social distancing regulations start to fade, your bidders who can't travel to your event will still be able to participate right alongside those at your live event, widening your network of potential bids and increasing your chances of reaching your fundraising goals. Not only does the system make it easy for you to deliver amazing guest experiences, the auction platform organizes all of your event activity in one place to make event planning and reporting a breeze. You'll have insight into everything you need to report on registration rates, item activity, features to encourage friendly competition among bidders, and the ability to close out your event with the click of a button. I can go on all day about the amazing power of this platform, but instead of hearing it from me, I'll hand it over to Chris to show you firsthand.
Thanks, Justin. All right, let me share my screen here. All righty. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you about our web bidding solution here today. Before we jump in, I do want to share a few highlights of what we've come up with on the product team. So we definitely wanted to make sure that anyone who wanted to participate in your event could, in the way that they were most comfortable with. So our web-based bidding solution is optimized for both desktop and mobile devices. It's great for virtual bidders participating in your auction at home, whether they're on their cell phone, a tablet, or maybe they're sitting on their couch with their laptop, sitting on their lap, or even the people who are maybe at your in-person events, if you're holding those, that they can use their mobile device as they walk around. And no matter what your guest comfort is with technology, we wanted to make sure that our web-based solution uphold the great user experience that Qgiv's known for, using an interface that's both modern and easy to use. As with all of our products, our goal is always to make sure that everything is easy to use and as engaging as possible. So once guests register for your event, they'll be given the option to participate in your auction online or through the Qgiv app if that's how they want to participate in. Once they've registered and they receive their ticket code, They can create an account or log in if they've participated in the past, add some payment information, and then they're directed immediately to start bidding. If they decide to use the web-based solution instead of the app, that's not a problem. If they decide to use the app later, they can just log in using the account that they've already created during the onboarding process. So we're really excited about this feature and how much your donors are really going to enjoy it. So without further ado, let's take a quick look. Let me share my screen here. Alrighty. So for those of you that are Qgiv clients, this may look a bit familiar to you. And this is our really great event site. It's fully customizable. You can drag and drop widgets and customize the content to your heart's desire. You can add thermometers. You can manage your sponsors through this page. With a few image uploads and a couple clicks to select some colors, you can have a really fantastic looking event. Ready? So let's go ahead and register for our Totally 80s auction night, which sounds like a great event. You'll see here on the registration page, there's a variety of options to register for the event. All of the packages are customizable by you, so you can select an unlimited number of packages available. For each package, you can set the number of tickets available. There's really a lot of customization that's available to you as the event organizer. So I'm going to register as a virtual bidder. You also have the ability to add an optional donation if you'd like during the registration process. And if your event has maybe some store items that you want bidders to purchase ahead of time, you can customize those as well. So if you have things like raffle tickets or maybe some event swag, those can all be added during the registration process too. So next I'm going to add a few details. And you'll see here, this is where you can enter in guest information. This is optional information that you can enter. So one of the nice things about our auction system is that it's very flexible and it accommodates a lot of different types of events. So one of the things you can do here is if you choose not to input this information, this is actually something that you can do later on, and individuals can be sent an invite to register for the event and set up their account. So one of the things that we heard a lot is that sometimes if you're registering, guests or sponsors, they may have a lot of tickets available to them, but they don't exactly know who's attending right away. And so with our system, you can send these email addresses out as soon as you get that information at a later point, and it doesn't stop you from registering for the event. So we're going to add these details. And I'm going to submit my payment information here. We also offer gift assist. So if you'd like the donor to help cover the fees of the transaction, you can add that as well. And this is where we sort of kick off all of our new web-based auction bidding. So as the receipt information is displayed here, the guests have the option of either one, downloading the app, or if they're not interested in downloading the app, they can log in using the web solution. So using this ticket code here featured in step 2, you can enter your ticket details. You'll confirm your ticket details. And then since I used an email address that is already in our system, I participated in a previous event, I can log in using that. Oops. Oops. There we go. And I'll be able to use my saved payment method. And as soon as I add a payment method, I'm into the event. I'm ready to start bidding. Bidders are presented with a message that is totally customizable by you. So if you want to add a message of appreciation or a message of support, you can add that here. And this auction items page is totally customizable by you. So I mentioned lots of flexibility. lots of customization within the event. You can drag and drop these item widgets however you want to. By default, we'll show the auction items, but you can also add any fund to need items you might have, or again, those store items that are offered as part of your event. You can insert those here as well. You can also separate these out as separate items. So if you want to really draw a lot more attention to your auction items, or maybe you want to draw more attention to your fund to need items, you can do that as well. So if we click into one of these options, you can see here the product details page. All of the information related to the product is customizable by you. So you are able to set the starting bids, you're able to set the bidding increments. If you would like to set a buy now price, which is a max bid on the product, you can set that. You can display the item value. And if there's a reserve that needs to be met for the item, you can set that as well. Each item category has its own start date and end date, so that's all customizable. You can add a description here. And if you'd like to include an image gallery, that's also displayed here. So you can see for anyone who's logged in on the web, there's this new place bid option. So once they click the place bid option, you can see that they'll be prompted for their new bid, or if there's a buy it now, they can buy it here. We also include a couple of calls to action to Qgiv on here, just in case they do want to take advantage of the push notifications or being able to add items to their watch list. They can do that in the app, and we provide some quick links for them to download that to make it easy. So I'm going to go ahead and place a bid on this item because this looks pretty nice. And you'll see that I've received a success message to let me know that my bid's been placed. So I'm going to hop back over to the items page. There's a couple more things I wanted to take a look at. So in addition to the auction items, I mentioned we have support for fund to need or raise a paddle type sub events. And so I'm going to take a look at the backpack and supplies fund to need. On this page, one of the things that that you get with this type of product as well is obviously the fundraising thermometer. So if you're trying to hit a particular goal, maybe it's a monetary goal or it's a quantity goal. If you have, you're trying to get 50, $25 raise a paddles or fund to needs, you can set that as well. And we show this progress thermometer so that bidders can stay locked onto this page. They can see the progress live. This all updates immediately. And so it really just helps create a really engaging part of your event. So I'm going to contribute to this fund to need as well. And I've got my success message there. And so you might be wondering, with this item that I'm winning or the fund to need that I've purchased, where I can go to see all of my activity in the event. And if you look over to the top right here, you'll see my bidder number, my name, and kind of a running total for everything that I've purchased so far. So if I click that, you're now taken to the event activity center. And this is unique for each bidder. And it's essentially a quick way for them to see everything that they're currently bidding on. So these are items that they're currently winning, all the items that they've already purchased. So these are things that have been added to their tab. If they've made payments already, they'll be able to see how much they've already paid. And if they have a balance, they'd be able to see that as well. You also see the payment method that gets added during the onboarding process. So if at any point the bidder would like to change a credit card or switch to something like an e-check, if your event supports it, they can do that here as well. And then below that, they'll see a breakdown of everything, all of their activity in the event. So if they had purchased multiple items here, if they have bid on several items, they would see a full list of all the items that they're currently bidding on, as well as the status of those items and the current price. So whether or not they're winning, whether or not if the items ended, whether or not they've actually won those items, and the price that they've received it for. And under purchased items, they would see a full breakdown of everything that they've purchased and whether or not it's been paid for or not. You also have the ability to edit ticket details if you'd like. And for some people who may have multiple tickets tied to their account when they're logged in, they would also have the ability to switch between tickets here. So if maybe you had a husband and wife team, maybe you're bidding together and you each have your own tickets, you can easily switch between the tickets if you wanted to keep the activity separate. So I'm gonna head back over to my activity, and I'm gonna go ahead and pay for my fund need contribution so you can see what the checkout flow looks like. As soon as an individual clicks pay balance, they're presented with their current balance. They can add a gift assist option to that as well if it's configured from your event settings. So I'm gonna go ahead and add gift assist and pay that balance. And you can see immediately the balance is updated. I don't know anything, I've already paid. And you can see here that this item in particular has already been paid for. So in a nutshell, that is our web bidding solution. Again, we really think it's very easy for your guests to get in. The same sort of modern and easy to use user interface that Qgiv's known for. We wanted to make sure that we just provided a really great and engaging experience for your event attendees. So now I'm going to jump back in to the presentation and talk a little bit more about our app-based bidding solution and some of our event management tools. So I talked a bit about Qgiv during showing the web-based solution. We know some guests are averse to downloading an app, but if there's anyone that's really on the fence or wanting to try it out, we do encourage them to use the Qgiv app. It's just a really fun and engaging experience, especially if you're running like an in-person or maybe a hybrid event. With the Qgiv app, guests can use our unique swipe to bid functionality. Having attended some of these events as like a non-Qgiv person, just someone to really enjoy a fundraising event, I've used the Qgiv app. It's just a lot of fun. It's kind of an addicting thing when you've been outbid to just easily place a bid by swiping. Additionally, if you're bidding using QR codes, it's a really quick way. If you can imagine walking through an event filled with product information sheets with a unique QR code, it's just a really easy way to get more up-to-date information on an item. So if you pull up the integrated QR code scanner, quickly pulls up an item. You can also receive push notifications on your phone. As the organization, you have the ability to push out updates through the control panel. And as a bidder, you get immediate push notifications when you've been outbid on an item. And if you're using if you're at an in-person event, there's also an integrated bid paddle feature that features your unique QR code that really just helps facilitate a touchless checkout experience. The app is really, really easy to use, and it helps guests get familiar with the app. In order to help you all get familiar with the app, we've included an interactive tour here, which I'd love to take you through. Alrighty. So once you've opened the Qgiv app on your phone, you can see the prompt to enter your ticket code right there at the bottom. And so you enter the ticket code from your email or from the receipt page. And after you've entered that, you get prompted to confirm your ticket details. I already had an account, so just need to enter a password from last year's account. If I didn't have an account already, I'd be prompted to create a new one. I already had a saved payment method from the last time I participated, and we ask for permission to push notifications in camera. And you can see here, you get a really nice mobile optimized layout for scrolling with one hand. We also offer a list view for something that's a little bit more condensed. And if you go into one of the details, you can see just a really nice layout. You can see activity on the item. You can also watch items by favoriting them. And if you go back throughout the feed as you look for items, maybe you decide you want to come back and revisit that item in particular. And so if you go to the My Activity section, you can see all the items that you're watching. Additionally, you'd also be able to see any items that you bid on or any items that you might be winning or purchased. You also have the option to see a breakdown of event items by category, and these are all customizable by you. You can have any number of categories you'd like. And so as we keep scrolling down, again, imagining the product sheet, being able to quickly scan a QR code that pulls an item directly up. It's a lot of fun to see people interacting with the QR code feature. And that would pull the item up directly in the app. It's almost a blink and you miss it sort of thing. I'm gonna go ahead and place a swipe to bid on the Greece vacation. And I have the ability to set a max bid after that. I'm not gonna set a max bid just yet. I wanna see what the activity looks like on the item. And at the top right there, I just got a push notification that I was outbid on the Greece vacation. So I'm gonna take another look at that item and I'm gonna swipe again. I don't want bidder 25 to get the best of me. I'm not gonna set a max bid for right now. I'll come back to it since I can just do the swiping. So that's kind of an overview of the item view. With the buy items, these are the item purchases. You can swipe to purchase these as well. And with the fund to need, you get a similar view from the web. You're able to see progress on a particular fund to need or raise a paddle. As you make a purchase, that all updates live. And so again, it's a really great way to maintain engagement within your event. So that's a really quick overview of our mobile app experience with the push notifications and the swipe to bid functionality. It's just a really fun way for guests to engage and interact with your events. But regardless of whether or not they're using the app or the web-based bidding solution, either one is going to create a really fun and engaging experience for your donors. So now let me talk a little bit about our new virtual terminal app for auctions. When we were researching how we were going to design and build our auction experience, we went to a variety of fundraising events that had, varied setups, various sizes, and we talked to all the people that planned them. We watched how donors interacted. We saw what worked really well and what didn't, and we knew that there needed to be a mobile counterpart to running a really great event. So I want you to imagine, the sort of traditional check-in table. You might have bidding stations set up. You might have the pieces of paper in front of your items. One of the things that I think was most needed is just flexibility in how people run their events. And so I think that's what we've been able to provide with our new virtual terminal app. It puts full event management capabilities on your smartphone. The days of a dedicated check-in table are really no longer needed, or maybe used in conjunction with a check-in table. You might have volunteers or staff that you can use to set up a check-in area, one that might be socially distanced, where people can walk up. If they connect a card reader, they can easily swipe to get checked in. You can easily look at bidders. If you have volunteers that you might want to use as a mobile concierge service, so people that might be roaming around these events, people who might be able to pair up with your high value donors or VIPs, they can follow along using their own mobile devices and help just create a really, really great experience for those guests as well. So this is a brand new app and it's available on both Android and iOS devices. And now I'd love to show you a little bit of that app experience as well. And I hope that you can kind of see how this might play in and imagine sort of being able to use this device or this app in conjunction with running your own events. So let me go ahead and start this off. So as soon as you open the VT app and you're logged in, you're taken to the dashboard. And this is just a really quick view of your event and how your event's performing. There's a variety of widgets here that you can use to gain information. So with this top one, you can see a breakdown of your event. If you have a fundraising goal set, the percentage of that goal, and a breakdown of where all of the contributions are coming from. You can also see a countdown of your auction items. So if you have various categories, how much time is left on those until timing ends. You can see top performers in your event, so items with a high number of bids or a high price currently on it. And you can also see some of the maybe bottom performers, items that don't have a ton of activity on them, no bids, or maybe they're still sitting at their current price. You can also quickly see how many attendees are checked in. And if you're running a fund to need, you can get a really quick glimpse of how those are all performing as well. So that's the event dashboard. You can also take payments within the event. So these are direct donations to your organization. You can very easily input any amount. You can enter a donor's details and take a variety of payment methods. Again, you can also use gift assist if they'd like to help cover the costs, and you can swipe to take a payment. With registration, we offer all of the same registration options. It's very quick to get someone registered on site. You can review their registration, enter optional contribution, and again, the add-ons during the registration process are also supported there. And you can swipe their credit card to process a registration immediately. With the attendees, this is just a really quick way to see everyone that's registered for your event and their status, whether or not they still need to check in, or if they're already checked in and how much they owe. You can see filtering options to drill down to specific attendees. And if you go in, you can also scan an attendee's QR code. Again, blink and you miss it, but you can scan someone's QR code from their email to pull them up directly in the app. From here, you can edit all of their ticket details. You can edit a payment method. You can see activity if they have any in the event so far. And you can also resend their ticket email either through email, or they can get their ticket code through a text message. So now we'll go back. And you can see here all the people that are checked in. If we jump over to the items section, you can see a very similar layout to what you've seen in the web in Qgiv, a breakdown of the auction items. You can see the status of all the items, what their current price is, how many bids they have on there. You can see your store purchases, how much time's left, as well as your fund to need items. This is where you can manage items on behalf of an attendee. So for example, if I wanted to quickly see all of the items without any bids, you could add a filter here and select the no bids option. And now you would immediately see all of the items that don't have a bid. And this is really useful for a push notification or some other in-event call to action to bring attention to these items. So I have someone that wants to bid on this cooking class. I can place a bid, and I'm going to use the QR scanner to scan someone's QR code, and you can see it's me. So I can immediately place a bid using that QR code scanner, or just searching the individual as well. And it's really easy to manage these items. So you can also filter again if you have someone that doesn't want to participate in the app or the web-based. This is just a really great counterpart. If someone decides they want to cancel their bid, you also have a really quick way to cancel these items as well. And again, this is something that you can use while roaming around the event. Doesn't have to be set up at an individual station. So last, we'll talk a little bit about checkout. So this is everyone that currently owes money for the event. So whether they've made purchases or they've won auction items, you'd see them listed as pending attendees here. You have the same filtering options available, and you can see who's paid and who has also checked out and actually received their items. So if we go back to pending, we can see an individual and everything that they purchased. You'd also see auction items here as part of their pending purchases. And when they make a payment, they have all those gift assist options. You can edit their details, immediately process. And as soon as they process, you now have the ability to fulfill those items. So if you're at a checkout table, maybe you have a list of auction items that this person won, you can quickly check those off as you deliver those items for checkout and fulfill them. And this makes it all the way back into your reporting and just makes your event reconciliation a breeze. So there's a lot of flexibility in how we do checkout. You can set it up for a variety of ways. If you've got multiple auction categories, you can check out each category. And again, this app just really makes it easy to run a very, very flexible event. So I know it's been a quick presentation, but I hope I've been able to share enough insight with you where you can see how all of our tools and features work in conjunction with each other to run a smooth and flexible fundraising event. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Justin, who's going to show you a few examples of some really great auction events that have been run on the Qgiv platform.
Thank you, Chris, for that insightful look into the new auction tool. So we're going to take a little dive into how some Qgiv clients have succeeded within the virtual environment. So one great example of this is Junior Achievement of Northern California. They had to transition their annual in-person gala to a virtual gala. They ended up exceeding their 300,000 fundraising goal by 12%. So here are some important things that they did. They live streamed their event through YouTube, and they included a link on their homepage to their virtual gala. Throughout the live stream, they ran multiple appeals and showed their fundraising thermometer on their screen. This is a fantastic idea. Donors love to see the fundraising progress of your organization. And actually, the very last appeal that they ran, their thermometer was at 92%. And minutes later, they hit their fundraising goal and they had a huge celebration on screen. Another important element that Junior Achievement included was matching gifts. Not only does this help you raise more, but donors feel all the more special when their donation is making a larger impact for your mission. Another great idea that they included was fund and need items tied to different Junior Achievement programs, and they included the impact of what those fund and need items provided. So for example, on this first item here, $50 provides JA programming to 3 students. This enables JA to deliver national, state, and district correlated hands-on learning supplies to 3 students. Another great idea that they implemented was creating videos for their live auction items. So for example, these videos would highlight certain things that are included within the package, images, and overall just established why a guest should bid. So for example, on this San Diego vacation home, they included images of the actual home itself, the surrounding area, and all of the great amenities that bidders can take advantage of if they won this item. Another fantastic example of a Qgiv client succeeding in the virtual environment is St. John Center for the Homeless Men. They hosted a virtual auction / peer-to-peer fundraiser called Raising the Rent. So the concept of this event was really cool. So St. John Center invited guests to host their own virtual house parties with family, friends, and colleagues to raise funds on their behalf. And they provided an incentive for them to raise as much as they could. This is an awesome idea, and it combines the power of peer-to-peer fundraising with a live auction event to increase attendance and to raise more. Another great idea that they included was a live raffle. And they had various items for their guests to win. And to keep guests engaged and to watch the live stream event, they announced the winners when they started the actual event itself. So one great thing about online auction platforms is that nonprofits can keep bidding open for their auction items for multiple days instead of just being confined to just that one night that you host your auction. And St. John Center took advantage of that. They actually had their bidding open for 6 days before the event started. And when the live action stream started at 7:50 is when they closed the auction. So what this does is it helps your guests in the virtual environment participate when they have time. Another great thing that they did is they hosted their live stream through Facebook. And again, they included a link to that live stream on their homepage. So for those that are interested in Qgiv's auction platform, pricing is $229 a month. If you want to save some money, you can pay quarterly, and that'll be at $597. What's included in our auction platform is unlimited number of auction events. So as long as you have the auction package enabled with us, you can run as many events as you want. What's also included are some of the features that we looked at today. So you'll gain access to our app-based and web-based bidding, our streamlined check-in and check-out, item purchases, and fund and need donations. And remember, Qgiv is a fully integrated event management system. Everything from registration to check-in and check-out, like we mentioned, you'll be able to manage that entire experience online to provide the best guest experience possible. You'll also gain access to the new Qgiv terminal, virtual terminal app, which we discussed today, which gives you a lot of on the management go at your on-site event and even when you're off-site managing a virtual event. You're able to manage your entire auction either through a desktop or a mobile device. Some other fantastic things that you gain when you use Qgiv is unlimited training and customer support with our award-winning team, which includes our great Jennifer Mansfield on the line today. You're never locked into a long-term contract, so you can switch between our different plans as you needed. So let's say you just want to run an auction event in April. Once that event is done, you are not locked into keeping that for the rest of the year. You can upgrade and downgrade as when you need to. Also included in our auction package are year-round donation forms, event statistics and reports, our integrations, as well as simple events. If you are a Qgiv client, please feel free to reach out and contact us at support@qgiv.com. If you're not currently a Qgiv client, please feel free to reach out to us at contactus@qgiv.com. And if you would like to learn more about the auctions platform, you can always visit us at qgiv.com/auctions. So let's hand it over to Jennifer so that we can start answering some questions.
Guys, good job. Lots of great information, and we've had lots of questions streaming in, so I'm going to hop right in. There are a couple that I can kind of knock out, and then I've got a couple for Chris as well. So does the activity that the bidder can see include store items and funded need items, or just auction items? And it does include all of it, both in the app and on the web version. You can see any auction items that you've bid on or that you're winning, and you can also see anything that's already been added to your cart or your tab, if you will. So you can keep track of all of that and kind of your running total. What happens if our guests don't want to put in their credit card? Maybe they want to pay later with a check. So good question. We do in the virtual terminal, both app and web-based, have the ability for you to check a bidder in as a cash or check participant. If they're bidding on their own and getting themselves checked in, they do have to add a credit card, but they can call a staff member or visit a staff member at an on-site event, and you can change that to cash or check, and then they can add the payment later, or they can actually pay with cash or check. So yes, there is flexibility there. For virtual events, we would encourage you, to have someone ready, on the ready with contact information so that they have a line of contact there. How do you make it so only people attending your event can bid? So you have to register, even if it's a $0 package or category, to be able to bid. If for some reason you didn't want the public to just be able to register, or just anyone to register, in our packages area, you can make those private so that they're only accessible via a link. So you could control registration a little bit more if you wanted to do that. Enough of me. I'm going to hand some to you, Chris. Is everything in the app version of the virtual terminal the same as the web version of the virtual terminal for staff?
Yes, everything that you see through our web virtual terminal, that's all supported in the app. I actually think in a lot of ways the app makes it a little bit easier. It's just a little bit more condensed. So if you're kind of at the event or you're in the midst of the event, in some ways using the app might be a better experience for you.
Awesome, thank you. We also have kind of a series of questions, and what we're getting at here is, how do people bid at an event if they don't want to use the app? Obviously, they're not going to have their laptop for the web version. Is that optimized for mobile? What would you tell people to do there, Chris?
Yeah, so we have a few different options there. Obviously, if they don't want to download the app, we do have the browser-based version now that can be done through either Chrome or Safari within their smartphone. If they don't have a smartphone with them, that's where the virtual terminal comes into place, and that's where we recommend maybe having some individuals set up either with the app, or if you do want to have a station set up with some laptops, you can do that as well. But everything can be done and facilitated through the virtual terminal. So it's a little bit more cumbersome because they have to find someone to place a bid on their behalf. But that would be the workaround if they didn't want to download an app or use the browser at all. That's why we have the virtual terminal option, so that you can still assist those bidders and help them stay up to date.
Great, thank you. Linda asked, will we show adding an item to the auction and how important setup time is for these types of events? That's not what we got into today, but we are happy to follow up with you. What I will say is that we do have an auction item import tool with a template that's right in your control panel to make that very easy to upload images and all the information you need for your auction items. You can also enter them one at a time. So I do think it is pretty easy to get your items in, but we can definitely show you what that looks like, show you the template, show you. So we'll follow up with you after the webinar for a few more details there. What else do we have here? Okay, what if I have a live auction and a silent auction at the same event? Can I differentiate those constituents? I'll start and then just let me know if you want to add anything, Chris. So we do allow you, I'm sorry?
No, that sounds good.
Okay. So we do allow you to add categories. We've got fun to need items, we have store items, and we have auction items, obviously. But if you can add different categories. So what we see clients doing is adding a live auction category with the items for that live auction. We certainly don't recommend people in a live setting and in a virtual setting. That can get a little tricky, but we do see people setting up categories for the different time blocks of when they're going to do the different categories during the night of the auction. Anything to add there, Chris?
Yeah, I was just going to add that it's not some of the flexibility that we have available in categories also helps if you want to do some pre-event activity. So what we have seen some clients do is set up a separate auction category with a smaller group of items as sort of like a warm-up auction leading up to the actual event. And so that just gives people a way to get onboarded ahead of the event. If you're doing something in person, that really helps with alleviating some of the check-in issues, like a long line at check-in or something like that. And so we have seen people create a separate auction category with its own start and end time for the event. We also I mentioned when we went to some of the auctions, we saw that people had 2 or 3 different sets of silent auctions that they were running. So maybe there was like kind of an early silent auction, and then maybe they had a fund to need in the middle, and then another set of live auction items that were available afterwards. That also gives you the ability to set that up too. So again, we try to keep it as flexible as possible so that we could accommodate a variety of events.
Great, thank you. We have some more streaming in here. Can more than one volunteer be logged into the app and it updates in real time? Yes, you have unlimited users at Qgiv, so everyone that will be interacting should have a user, and you have different permission levels, and so you can get them all added and they can use it at the same time. That's how it is intended to be used. Can you delay when the receipts with the ticket code go out to say the day before your event? No. Our theory is that we want people checked in and ready to go. So when the event starts, they're ready to go and they're not dealing with check-in or onboarding onto the app, although it's very easy. So we haven't heard the need for that. Anything to add there, Chris? It kind of goes out real time, so.
Yep, and Jennifer hit the nail on the head. Our thoughts are just to get people to interact and get onboarded into the system sooner than later, so that the night of the event, that's really not anything that they have to worry about. They can just show up and enjoy it. Great.
So this question, and we're seeing more of this, how well does the online auction integrate with your peer-to-peer solution? So we are definitely seeing lots more clients use those in tandem for longer campaigns, engaging their bidders to have ongoing fundraising campaigns. Right now, they're not fully integrated. You do have to register for the auction, and you also have to register as a fundraiser on the peer-to-peer. They have a different set of tools and some functionality. We are looking at ways to bridge that gap a little bit better for your bidders and attendees so that that is an easier bridge, if you will. But right now they are two separate registration processes. What I'll add to that is that our event builder tools, if you're familiar with Qgiv, are very easy, drag and drop, very customizable and flexible. So the event site itself can be very intuitive and streamlined into kind of one event site that's pointing them where they need to be to integrate them that way, but the two registrations are still necessary. Instead of asking you every time, Chris, if you just want to like do this, if I've missed something that you want to add, that'd be great. I know we're almost out of time, but we have a few more here. Let's see, let me scroll up. We use little green light for our donor database. So can we just use the Qgiv auction platform for our event? Yes, you can. We have lots of solutions, year-round forms, peer-to-peer, text giving, you know, kiosks. But if you just want to use us for auctions, you certainly can. And that's why we make our pricing so flexible. So you can jump in and use what you need when you need it. You can always sit on our start plan when you're not using it so that you don't have to initiate the account every year. But yes, you absolutely can. We might try to talk you into more. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Does an event need to have an auction component to use the virtual terminal app for an event? So the answer is what Chris showed you today. Yes, that is the auction virtual terminal, and it has a lot more bells and whistles than our standard virtual terminal. However, if you are doing a peer-to-peer event or a Qgiv like standard event, we do have a virtual terminal app for that as well that would help in card readers so that you can swipe at the door or whatever and register people on the back end. So we have one, but it's certainly not as fully functioning as the auction virtual terminal.
I'll just add to that really quick, Jennifer. What you can do is have the auction app. Don't point people to register at that event. And if you do have separate, either a donation form or an event form that you want to have people register for separately, you can have them register there, and then you would just handle all of the bid placing yourself through the virtual terminal app.
We have a ton more questions. I know we said till 2:45, but I am happy to stay on and continue answering if you gentlemen are. If anybody needs to hop off, we're going to send you everything afterwards. Thank you for joining us today. But for those of you who want to stay on, we'll just kind of run through the rest of these. What is the average length of an online auction before the event? I can probably take that one. I will say I don't have a great answer for you. It's all over the board, especially after last year. We have folks that are running them for, you know, weeks and weeks, sometimes even months, sometimes a few days. It just depends on the program and the campaign as a whole. The one thing I would say to you is just make sure you're finding ways to keep your bidders and your attendees engaged. Maybe you're you know, releasing a new awesome item once a week to get them to check in. If it's too long and you don't have something to keep them engaged, you're gonna lose that audience for the event. So just think through that. But we're seeing lots of variety there. I have to be really honest with you. Are you able to run a raffle and a silent auction from the same platform? Yes, depending on the type of raffle you're talking about, our store category does support the selling of raffle tickets. If you want to do it that way. I don't know if you're talking about a specific, I know there are lots of fun raffles that are popping up. I don't know if you're talking about something specific, but we've certainly seen a lot of raffles incorporated with events and they're running in tandem. Is there a way to send a message via email text to attendees during the event through the Qgiv platform? Yes. You look like you wanted to talk, Chris. You want to take that one?
No, so you can email event attendees. You can send a push notification if you like. And throughout this year, we're gonna be looking at making that an even better experience, being able to send more easily send emails and more campaigns prior to the event.
Absolutely. During the event, the push notifications can be scheduled, or you can just do them ad hoc. They're very easy to get in and add. And that's for any app-based attendees if they have notifications turned on. It's great for driving momentum towards your fundraising goals, maybe helping publicize like maybe an item that might be lagging, new items, things that are happening at the event that you don't want them to forget about, things like that. So we see lots of usage there. Are you able to take event donations from your auction and apply them to a current peer-to-peer event? The answer is yes and no. You can't necessarily take donations from an auction and apply them to a peer-to-peer event, but with both of those tools, you get the fundraising hub, another tool that we have. So you can aggregate the data from your auction event and your peer-to-peer event into one overall goal to show the success of both of those campaigns together. That's really easy to set up, and we see lots of people doing that, especially when they're combining different elements. So yes, but no, not the way you worded it, but we can help. And I think, oh, I'm going to read this. This is a great way to end it. Jamie said, we used the auction for the first time last year in August after our in-person event in April was canceled, and we loved it. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you for sharing. We love to hear that. Will this recording be available to us later? Absolutely. And then one more, and then I promise we'll wrap up here. Would you consider adding texting functions to guests, specifically when they have been outbid? You want to take that, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to do it as a text, but we are looking at an email as a potential fallback option for guests that may not receive a push notification.
But if you do have notifications turned on and you're in the app, you will already receive outbid notifications. We're just going to kind of grow that for other types of attendees.
Yep.
Awesome. I think that's it. Thanks for all the great questions, guys. That was a lot of questions. Thank you for giving us your time today. And I'll let Justin wrap us up.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. We will, like we said, we will send a recording of this presentation via email. And thanks for joining us. Happy to see everyone, and have a great day.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.